I'd like to welcome you to Uplifted. This is Thursday, September 24th. And actually, for the first time that I've done Uplifted, this really is Thursday, September 24th. I have, again, this is going to be a two-parter. If you followed Monday and Tuesday, this is going to be a different two-parter. But I want to talk a little bit about fear today. And actually fear and truth, which is kind of a strange combination, but you'll see what I'm going to do here with fear. Fear, of course, the media has a lot at stake here to keep us in fear. And again, I want to uplift you. There's a lot to fear, a lot of things if you're following in the media. But I want you to understand this. Fear disempowers truth. And that's where I want to connect these two, especially you have to stay tuned till tomorrow to see the end of this thing. But actually understand how fear and truth, and I'll give you a personal example, but let's say if somebody's afraid of COVID, really afraid of getting COVID, the fact that 99.9% of the people will recover from COVID, those facts, if you're really afraid, the facts don't matter. I'm really nervous about flying. My wife and I went to Alabama. Actually, now it's been maybe a month or two. And I'm not a fan of flying. Now, I always get nervous, especially at takeoff. I just have this apprehension about flying. I'm not afraid of flying, but there's some anxiety there. There is a little bit of fear there every time I fly. If I'm by a wing, I'm looking at the rivets to make sure those rivets are screwed in right. One time I saw a rivet that was up a little bit and that made me nervous. Now you can give me all the statistics about flying. I know how safe flying is. I know it's much more dangerous to drive in a car. I understand all that, but guess what? I'm still afraid. If a kid is afraid to go on a roller coaster, you can go and you can check all the pillars underneath the roller coaster. I like that wooden one at Six Flags. I don't know if it's Six Flags anywhere, but Great America. Those pillars, you can check the pillars. You can check underneath your cart. You can make sure the wheels are on properly. That noise when it's going up there, click, 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 that always makes me nervous. I don't like that noise. When I fly and I'm hearing weird noises, that always makes me nervous. Just a little bit of turbulence. Now I look around and the flight attendants, they're not nervous at all. But still, there's that little bit of nervousness in me. Facts will not help fear. The percentage of airplanes that crash, knowing those facts, don't help. I'm afraid of heights. And when the Faithmen will go to Canada, we've been going once a year, and this last time we went, we were able to go into that very high, they call it the CN Tower. It is unbelievably high. And when you get up to the observation deck, there's a part of the floor, probably as big as the floor in this room. You can imagine my room here, and it's plexiglass. And so you can see through it, and you can see all the way down to the ground. Now, people are on that deck, and they're laying on it. Some kids are laying face down. Some people are laying face up, taking selfies of themselves. And then there's a chart on the wall that tells how much weight could be on this plexiglass. And they showed several whales. 2 whales could fit on, or could lay on that, no problem. They told me how many moose. There could be, 157 mooses could be on this thing and be safe. All these facts that told me how much weight that plexiglass could hold, but literally, I'm not kidding, I wanted to go on that plexiglass and look down, and I always get this weird nervous feeling in my stomach, and my brain was trying to get me onto that plexiglass. My feet wouldn't move. Literally, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go, here we go. And little kids are on there playing, they're doing jumping jacks. I'm like, okay, Jeff, just go out there, just step on the plexiglass, and I'd try to move, and my feet wouldn't move. All those facts didn't matter. Fear disempowers truth. I want you to understand that. Well, what can overcome fear? It's not what you think. It's not facts. It's not science. It's not theories. Okay? I understood that the weight, I understand the acceleration due to gravity. I understand gravity's trying to pull me down, but the steel structure is going to hold me up. I understand all the theory behind it. That doesn't help fear. If a little kid is afraid of a roller coaster, you can give them the facts. No one's ever died on this roller coaster. There's steel, and there's wood, and there's beams, and there's rivets. Son, you don't have to be afraid. We're still afraid. The facts don't matter. Actually, it's not what you think. If you'd open in your Bible, and I'm just going to read it, 1 John 4:18 says this. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out fear, because fear hath torment. He that feareth is not made perfect in love. Actually, love will cast out, perfect love will cast out fear. Not what you thought, not the facts, not science, not theories. Love casts out fear. Here's how to get a kid on a roller coaster if he's afraid. And then you got to stay tuned for tomorrow. But the hand of a loving parent to take that child's hand and to tell him, you know what, we're going to go on this thing together. I'm going to sit right next to you through this whole ride. And that loving hand is what will cast out fear. That perfect love casts out fear. And now tomorrow, I want you to stay tuned, which will be Friday the 25th. I'm going to connect these two, this fear, love casting out fear, and then we're going to get to truth.
It's still true that Jesus still saves. You'll find mercy when you call His name. There's still power in the blood flowing from Calvary's crucified Son. Grace is still deeper than the stain. He can still make you free again. All that we know our God can do, it's still true. People in the world today seem to have a lot to say. It's hard to tell what's right from what is wrong. In a world of blatant lies, it is hard for us to find the truth we need to keep our faith secure. But there are still some things I know for sure. It's still true that Jesus still saves. You'll find mercy when you call His name. There's still power in the blood flowing from Calvary's crucified Son. Grace is still deeper than the stain. He can still make you free again. All that we know our God can do, it's still true.
Child of God, it's time to stand and send our light across this land to share God's message with the dying world. No more blowing in the wind, you gotta know It doesn't matter what this world may say. We're anchored in God's promise anyway.
It's still true that Jesus still saves. You'll find mercy when you call his name. There's still power in the blood flowing from Calvary's crucified Son. Grace is still deeper than the stain. He can still make you free again. All that we know our God can do, it's still true. All that we know our God can do, it's still true.